Ni jina kadri linapotajwa waacha Wakenya wengi wakiwa wenye uoga kwa sababu ya visa vilivyopata kuhusishwa na kundi hili. Jina la Mungiki. The mere mention of the word Mungiki is enough to send shivers down the spines of many in the Mt.Kenya region. Though the government has downplayed residents' fear of the re-emergence of the sect, there have been telltale signs of the return of the gang that spread terror in the region in the early 2000s. Members of the outlawed sect have been regrouping, sometimes attacking those perceived to stand in their way as they extort from public service vehicles (PSVs) and residents of the region. They are part of criminal gangs that runs shadow extortion rings that have taken over the management of Matatu terminal again. Yesterday, 9 women MPs from the region asked the government to crack down on the sect. They told the press that members of the proscribed sect had regrouped and taken control of the businesses and transport sectors in the region. The MPs claimed some of the gang members have been demanding money from business owners to allow them to continue operating. Addressing a news conference at Parliament buildings yesterday, the MPs threatened to mobilize demonstrations in Mt.Kenya region should the government fail to crack down on the criminal INCITES. They claimed the gang leaders had held meetings to recruit followers in Keno area of Murang'a County and are planning to hold similar meetings in Nyeri and Nakuru counties in the coming weeks. They argued the Interior Cabinet Secretary Kithure Kindiki to crack down the group. We MPs drawn from the Mt.Kenya region have noted with concern the recent attempts to revive and sanitize the activities of the outlawed Mungiki sect by clandestine forces aimed at destabilizing the peace and tranquility in our region and the nation at large. The legislature said in statement read by Nyadaro Women Representative Faith Gitao. She said the group had in the past distributed the social fabric of the society. It had disrupted the social fabric of the society and should not be allowed to re-emerge. Mary Wamaua, the Maragua MP, demanded that the government take action against the gangs which she said were creating fear among the people. We hereby demand that Professor Kithure Kindiki, CS Interior, immediately cracks down on any resurgence of Mungiki, as has been recently witnessed on several occasions, she said. Other legislators who were at the press conference were Jane Kagiri, Laikipia Women Rep, Alice Ng'ang'a of Thika Town, Anwa Muratha, Kiambu Women Representative, Irene Njoki, Bahati MP, Jane Kiara, the Naivasha Member of Parliament, Rahab Mokami, the Nyeri Women Representative, and Pamela Njoki, Embu Women Rep. Public servants playing the Ruiru Nairobi route have in the past complained that criminal gangs have been harassing and forcing them to pay protection fees. The MPs spoke about a week after former leader Maina Jenga said the sect had ceased operations after his retirement. Now, terror groups. Speaking in a TV interview, Maina Jenga said the gang was non-existent and that he now leads a peaceful Christian initiative. Some 40 years ago, I used to lead an organization called Mungiki, but after 20 years, I retired. Mungiki is not there anymore. When you retire with everything, he said. Early this year, Kindiki warned of the alleged resurgence of Mungiki in central Kenya and the eastern Kenya. We saw them chanting outside the DCI when we arrested a suspect, and you can see the courage and demeanor of these criminals. I reiterate again that any person who thinks we can go back to the years when terror groups hiding behind culture killed and extorted our people is mistaken, he said in March. All those who are recruiting and suspecting youths to join proscribed organization are enemies of Kenya, and for the sake of Kenya, we will come for you and get rid of you. As much as I want to decongest prisons, I have room for dangerous criminals, Kindiki warned. Days before Kindiki's warning, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua and cautioned that any attempt to resurrect the outlawed organization would be met with swift and decisive action from the government. And yesterday, the MPs called on the government to act tough, accusing the Sect of extortion in public transport and construction sectors. They in particular called on the media to stop giving coverage to Sect members, saying this was akin to adding insult to injury. It is unfortunate that we are seeing some media houses attempting to sanitize Mungiki through coverage of their activities. This is completely unacceptable and an assault to the dignity of our country and our people, said Wamawa. The legislatures said there was need for the media to deny coverage to any leader associated with the sect, so as not to amplify their actions. But let me ask, as of right now, you don't have to go to Citizen TV, you don't have to go to NTV, you don't have to go to KTN for you to have your story published and getting attention from Kenyans. You just have to need somebody with a number of followers on social media, on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, and YouTube. That's all that you need. And your story will boom, and it will have more impact, more than even the TV can bring. So right now you telling Citizen TV not to cover certain events so that they will focus. No, that is typical blasphemy. We should stop that. And I see the reason that the government right now is worried is because the chairman has come back. And the chairman is not here to bring back Mungiki. We have all heard that his agendas are uniting the mountain, not the agendas of reviving any sect. But because politicians are in fear that they have instilled Kenyans in the mentality of suffering. You know, Kenyans have been instilled the mentality of suffering, the mentality of not knowing where they are going. So right now, when they see somebody trying to open the mind of Kenyans, they will try to sell fear to Kenyans. They will try to sell ideologies to Kenyans that Kenyans, you know, this man and this. We all know. Let me ask, who was the greatest killer in the Bible? The man that killed many Christians was Paul, Apostle Paul. But when God came and visited Paul, Paul became the man that won so many souls and even started the current church and religion that we all follow as Christians in the current years of 2023. So we should stop sometimes acting as if we are Jesus. People who are killers and criminals can at the end of the day turn their lives around and become great members of the society. So let's not point fingers, my dear friends, because we all have things that we have done in our past and we are not proud of. But God gives us a chance to change.